Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. Naruto and the others engaged in casual conversation until they were greeted by a gruff-looking man with a bandana over his head. Alright, sit down and shut the hell up. I am Ibiki, your proctor, and welcome to the gates of hell, he said to the group of people. Everyone seemed intimidated by the man, except Naruto and his group. Naruto had told them about the way the Chunin exams went without leaving a detail. As everyone took their seats, Ibiki began his torture. Alright, here is how things go. You have all be privileged to join the Chunin exams. Know that things will get hectic for you. This test is a written test. I will make a few rules clear. 1. There is no cheating whatsoever. If you are caught cheating 5 times, you and your teammates will be sent out of the room, Ibiki explained. How the hell is that fair? One person said to Ibiki. Shut the hell up. Nothing in life is fair. You are just unlucky to have me for a proctor. In the last 10 minutes of the exam, you will be given a 10th question. I suggest you try to stay alive till then. The test starts when I say start, Ibiki said to them. Naruto and his group put their heads on the desk and fell asleep as were Naruto's instructions. Everyone waited for 10 minutes for Ibiki to say start, but he didn't. Are you going to say start anytime soon? Kankuro asked. Ibiki smiled at him. I did. That last sentence was the signal to start, Ibiki said to them. Everyone gasped as they started to answer. Ibiki and his group started to pick out weaklings unlucky enough to get caught. Number 47 fails. Numbers 12 and 26 fail, Ibiki said to them. The group got up and left. 5 more groups of people got disqualified as they walked out. Soon it came down to the final 10 minutes as Naruto and his group started to wake up. Ibiki narrowed his eyes at Naruto. You have a nice nap, Gaki? Ibiki asked. Naruto smiled. It was rather pleasant, Naruto told him. Ibiki smirked. Ibiki turned serious as he looked at everyone in the room. Alright, here is your 10th question, but before I ask it, I want to know if you want to take this question, Ibiki said to them. Ino stood up. What happens if we don't take the question? She asked. Ibiki looked at her. Well, of course you fail. And your previous points won't help you either, Ibiki said to them. Ino grew a vein on her head. Then we aren't stupid enough to not answer it, she said to him. Ibiki smiled. However, should you answer this wrong, you will be genin for the rest of your lives. Can you take that risk? He asked. Everyone wavered a little, except Naruto and his group. More than half the students quit as they walked out. Naruto sighed. He stood up and looked at everyone in disgust. Okami, you are all pathetic. You all have no balls. How can you be a Chunin if you aren't willing to take risks? Man, the fact that some of you gave up without attempting it is appalling. You are a disgrace to your village. If you think I am wrong, then put your hands down and wait for the damn question, Naruto said as he sat back down. Everyone stared at the blonde in awe. No one had spoken with such confidence before in their lives. Everyone smiled as they put their hands down. Even his group had their own thoughts about his speech. Oh Naruto-kun, the way you talk down to these insects makes me so hot, Shizune said in her thought. Naru-kun sure knows how to take control of a situation, Haku said to herself. Just what I would expect of you, Naruto, my leader, Kiba said with a smirk. Sasuke smirked. Ino nodded in agreement with Naruto for once. Hinata blushed at his intensity. Shino came to respect him. Shikamaru smiled and nodded. Everyone gave approving grins as they all got the balls to answer Ibiki's question. It seems that Gaki has convinced everyone to stay. I guess my torture is over, Ibiki said as he clapped his hands. Good job. Everyone passes, Ibiki told them. Everyone looked confused. What about the 10th question? Tamari asked. Ibiki smiled. There is no 10th question, this was all to see how you could gather information. As a shinobi, you won't always have the luxury of selecting your missions. There will be missions where your life is on the line. You must be willing to take risks. Those who would rather opt out of a mission to fight another day will not be called shinobi, not as long as I am here, but you all passed, good job, he said to them. Everyone was happy to have passed, except Naruto's group. Oh please, you people can't even handle that much, Naruto said to himself. Soon a banner came out of the window and Kunai stuck it to the roof with a purple-haired woman coming out of the banner. Naruto and his team put their heads down in embarrassment at their sensei. Alright Gaki, I am Anko Mitarashi, I am your proctor for the second exam, follow me, she said with her hand in the air. Everyone's sweat dropped as Ibiki came from behind the banner. You still get here too early, he said to her. Anko sighed as she looked at the students. She smiled as she saw her students there. Ah, Ibiki, 54 people passed. You are losing your touch, Anko said to him. Ibiki sighed. Or we have a strong batch here, he said to her. Anko smiled. Oh well, when I am done, less than half of this group will be dead, she said to them. Everyone gulped as they saw her head to the window. Alright Gaki, follow me to training ground number 44, all those late will be failed, Anko said as she ran out the window. Naruto smiled as he got up. His team followed his lead and headed for the window. He turned back to the group of still startled young shinobi. Well, what are you people waiting for? Get your in gear, Naruto told them as he and his team jumped out the window. Everyone ran after them as Ibiki picked up the papers. He looked to see something scribbled on paper. Hey Ibiki, there is a spy in our group. That spy is an examinee named Kabuto. He is a spy for Orochimaru. Oh, and speaking of the snake, he is here also. He plans to wage war on Konoha. Just thought I should tell you, later, said the note. Ibiki smiled. Thank you for the info Gaki, Ibiki said as he shunshined to the Hokage's office. Hokage Mansion. Ibiki came into the office to see the Hokage working on his paperwork. Excuse me Hokage-sama, but we have an enemy in our midst, Ibiki said to Hiruzen as he handed him the note. Sarutobi scanned the note as he narrowed his eyes. Should we cancel the Chunin exams? Ibiki asked. No, if we do the other countries will want to know why, and if we explain to them that we had a traitor they would see that they could get through also. Keep the exams going, but put a tight leash on security, he said to Ibiki. Ibiki bowed as he shunshined away. I won't let you harm us Orochimaru, Sarutobi swore. Training ground number 44. Anko arrived at the grounds and sat patiently for the rest of the people to show up. No sooner than did her students show up with a grin. You can't outrun us Anko, Naruto told her. Anko smiled. I guess not, I wasn't really trying to lose you though, Anko said to him. Everyone sat down as they waited for the others. Well, that part was easy, Haku said as she leaned on Naruto. Kiba nodded. No kidding, that was the best nap I ever had in a long time, Kiba said as he stretched. Shizune laid on Naruto's lap. We have our glorious leader to thank for that, Shizune said as she gave Naruto a kiss. Naruto smiled. Just doing what is best, no sense in getting worked up so soon, Naruto told them. Anko laid on Naruto's adjacent shoulder. Well, it will be fun to see a village like this one burn, Anko said to them. Everyone laughed as they nodded as waited for the group of people. 10 minutes later, everyone showed up as Team 7 got up. Naruto looked at a weird woman who was at the back of the group. Naruto smiled. Sorry Orochimaru, but you haven't earned the right to destroy Konoha. That right is for me and my family, Naruto said with an evil smile. Orochimaru shivered in his disguise. What is this unsettling feeling? He wondered. Naruto smiled as he slipped away to Anko. Naruto grabbed Anko, Kiba, Shizune, and Haku as they went behind a tree. Anko, do you see that woman over there? Naruto asked as he pointed to her. Anko turned around and saw a strange woman with a hat on her head. Yeah, I see her. What about it? She asked. Naruto smiled. That is Orochimaru in a disguise, Naruto told her. Anko was about to react, but was stopped by Naruto's hand. She turned to Naruto. Anko, calm down. I know you want him dead, trust me, I know, which is why I will give you this reward early, Naruto said as he bit her neck. Anko moaned a little as she felt a mixture of pain and pleasure. Naruto took his mouth off her neck and kissed her. There, your curse mark is gone, that mark one have given you is the same that I will give, Haku-chan, Zabuza, and Kiba after the exams. This mark triples everything on you, your chakra, your stamina, your power and everything else except height. You have also been given that mark as a sign that you are my mate and no one else's. You will also be given a tail like mine and Shizune's, Naruto told her. Anko jumped for joy as she kissed her new boyfriend. Oh, thank you, Naruto-kun, can I Orochimaru? Anko asked. Naruto frowned. Sorry, Anko, not yet. Trust me, when he dies, you are going to personally do it, but that time isn't right now, but you can fight him to see how much you have changed, Naruto said to her. Anko squealed as she smoothed her head into Naruto's chest. Thank you so much, my demonic boyfriend, Anko said sweetly. Naruto smiled. I aim to please, he told her. Anko smiled as she went back out. Kiba looked out worried. Naruto, when I get that mark, does that mean that he was stopped by Naruto. Haha. No, Kiba, you aren't a mate when you get the mark reacts differently from men and women. Men are considered potential connections to my cause, Naruto assured him. Kiba breathed a sigh of relief as they walked back. Anko appeared in front of the group. Alright, Gaki, you will have to sign these forms. This states that if you die here, we aren't held accountable for this, Anko said to them. Everyone signed the forms and gave them to Anko. Anko smiled as she held out 2 scrolls. This is a heaven and earth scroll. You are supposed to find other teammates and fight each other for the scrolls, she said to them. One examinee held up his hand. What about them? He asked, pointing to Naruto's group. It's not fair that they get 4 people and we get 3, he said to her. Anko sighed. Naruto's team with the addition of Haku will be given an extra scroll and will have to look for another one for her, Anko said to them. Naruto nodded as did his team. Everyone got their scrolls as they put them up. Naruto turned to his group. Haku, Kiba, give me the scrolls, Naruto told them. Both gave him the scrolls as Naruto wrote a blood seal over his pouch. There now no one can touch these, but as Naruto told them. Anko opened the gate. Well, Gaki, good luck, go, she yelled as teams rushed into the field. Naruto and his team ran off as they entered the forest. Anko closed the gate. As soon as she did, Anko heard a few screams. Damn, who dies that fast? She wondered. Anko then went back to the task at hand. It's a shame that I can't him, but the feeling of him later would be so much fun. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Anko said as she waited outside. Inside the forest. Naruto, where are we going? Kiba asked. We are going to get Haku-chan's scroll first, then our own, Naruto told them. Everyone nodded in understanding. As soon as they touched ground, they were encountered by 3 rain shinobi. Fork over the scroll and we let you go, he said to them. Naruto smiled. And what scroll do you have? He asked. The man smiled. I have a heaven scroll, he said to them. Oh, how unfortunate for you. I need that, Naruto said as he disappeared behind the man. Naruto held a kunai as he smiled. You must be very unlucky, rain scum, Naruto said as he the man. He took the scroll from his pocket and put it into the blood seal. Well, that takes care of that, Naruto said to his group. Shizune and Haku nodded as they stood over their owns. Ah, that was too easy, Shizune said as she licked some blood of her hand. Haku swiped the blood off her own hand. Now Shizu-chan, we will find someone better, Naruto assured her. Shizune nodded as the group ran off. With Gaara and his group. Gaara just finished destroying a group of ninja as his sand absorbed the blood. Kankuro took their scroll and laughed. Well, let's go, we have what we came here for, Kankuro said to them. Temari nodded. Gaara walked around aimlessly. Where is he? Where is the one whose blood mother craves? Where are you, Naruto Uzumaki? Gaara wondered as the group headed to the tower. Back to Naruto and his group. Everyone roamed the trees for an opponent as they saw Hinata and Shino, along with an unconscious Sasuke on the ground, fending off 3 sound shinobi. Naruto sighed. Great. The Tem got bit again. Not like it matters, Naruto told them. Everyone laughed as they nodded. As they saw Shino and Hinata hit the ground, they decided to move. Sorry, but you aren't Sasuke, that pleasure is for me and my group alone, Naruto told them. One man stepped forward. He hand bandages over his body, only revealing his right eye to the group. Sorry brat, but the Uchiha is dying by me, said the man. Listen Dozu, I can you, but that is a pain, so leave and I might let you go, Naruto said with a look that promised certain death. Dozu looked surprised. How does this kid know my name? Dozu wondered. A raven-haired woman who was with them soon backed up. Dozu, Zaku let's go, he is serious, she said to them. Zaku hit the girl in the gut as she fell down and gripped her stomach. Shut up Kin, we aren't that Uchiha, even if his friends interfere, Zaku said to her. Naruto's eyes turned to slits. To hurt your own teammate is unforgivable, Naruto said to them. Dozu laughed. She is a bitch, it is of no consequence to us, he said to Naruto. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Naruto whispered to Shizune. You can have Zaku dear, Naruto told her. Shizune smiled. Oh Naruto-kun, you are so generous, Shizune said as she walked forward. She had on one of the happiest smiles in her life. Naru-kun says that I am going to have fun, Shizune said as she disappeared. Zaku's eyes widened and before he knew it he was on the ground in pain. Ah, what the hell happened? He asked. Shizune reappeared. Oh, that was me shattering your nervous system, Shizune said with a smile. Shizune made her chakra blade. Unlike a normal blue chakra blade, this one had a black and red combo. Shizune smiled as she stepped forward. This little piggy went to the village market, she said as she cut off an arm. Zaku screamed in pain as he saw his arm on the ground. Dozu stood in fear of the group. He had never known true fear until today. And this little piggy went to the bank, Shizune said as she cut off a leg. Blood sloshed out of Zaku's body as he felt his life leave his body. Shizune continued this process until he was limbless. Shizune smiled. Ah, I am all out of piggies. Oh wait, no I'm not, Shizune said as she raised her blade over his head. And this little piggy went over to the other side, Shizune said she severed his head. Shizune walked back to her group. How was that Naru-kun? She asked. Naruto smiled. Wonderfully evil Shizu-chan, Naruto told her. He turned to Dozu. Now you can leave or you can end up like your friend there, Naruto told him. Dozu left his scroll and shot away, leaving Kin all by herself. Naruto walked up to Kin. Kin was terrified as she tried to back up only to hit a tree. He's really gonna me, I don't wanna die. Kin said as she waited for death to make itself known. That death never came, what came was a hand over her cheek. She opened her eyes to see a smiling Naruto. Are you alright? Those guys didn't hurt you, did they? Naruto asked. Kin blushed, but backed away. No thank you, but why? she asked. Naruto smiled. Well, those with teammates like that should get new ones. Well, we need your scroll, Naruto said to her. Kin blushed as she looked closely at his defined body. He's kind of cute, his is being nice to me, why is it? We are enemies and yet I feel that I can trust him with all of my life, she wondered. Naruto took her scroll as he and his group left in a good mood. See you later, Kin-chan, Naruto told her as they left. Kin stared until he was gone. Kin-chan, she wondered as her blush reddened. Kin got up and led to exit the forest. I think I want to see him again, she said as she left. With Naruto and his group, man, Naru-kun's really laying all of the moves down today, Haku said to him. Naruto blushed. What can I say? I am a for good looks, Naruto said as he kissed Haku and Shizune as the two blushed. Kiba blushed a bit, but looked up. Boy, do I feel like a third wheel, Kiba said to them. Shizune smiled as she kissed Kiba on the cheek. Kiba blushed at the action. You're no third wheel, Kiba. You will get a girl, I just know it, Shizune said to him. Kiba's blush reddened as he nodded. Thank you, he said as the group headed for the tower. With Anko headed into the forest to search for her disgrace of a master as she happened on the same woman Naruto pointed to her. Anko appeared behind him and smiled. Never thought I would get to fight you, Anko said to him. The person turned around. I am surprised you remember me, Anko-chan, Orochimaru said to her. As he looked at her, he suddenly went into thought. Strange. Her curse mark isn't reacting to me, Orochimaru thought. Anko smiled. Sorry, Orochimaru, but only one person can call me Anko-chan and that is the man I love, Anko said to him. Orochimaru laughed. The man you love, Kukuku, and who is that? He asked. Anko still smiled. It is of no consequence to you, just know that he is so much stronger than you, it is almost no contest, Anko said to him. Orochimaru chuckled. I highly doubt that, but it's fun to dream. Well, if you won't tell me who he is, he pulled out his sword. Anko charged Orochimaru with her blade as she lessened the distance between the two. Orochimaru was taken back by the sudden speed, but quickly reacted as his sword clashed with Anko's. Orochimaru smiled. Impressive, Anko-chan, you have improved greatly, Orochimaru said to her. Anko smiled. Thanks for the compliment, Orochi, but, she said as she pivoted her foot and disappeared. Orochimaru's eyes widened as he felt a foot hit his face and propelled him into a tree. Anko reappeared with her foot sticking out. That isn't all there is to me, she said to him. Orochimaru laughed as he came out of the tree unharmed. Orochimaru dusted himself off. He turned to see a smiling Anko. What's so funny? He asked. Anko smiled. All my life, I could never get a hit on you, but now I have the power to you, but I won't, Anko said to her. Orochimaru smiled. Oh, and why won't you? He asked. Anko sighed and formed another smile. Anko threw her sword at his head. Orochimaru easily dodged the blade by ducking as the sword stuck to the tree behind him. As he raised his head, he saw Anko instantly in front of him. Because my lover doesn't want me to, Anko told him as she kicked him in the air. Orochimaru's expression changed to confusion. She's so fast, even people in Curse Mark II form can't get that speed, Orochimaru thought as he backflipped. Anko ran until she was directly where Orochimaru would land. Anko did some hand signs as she got ready. Orochimaru smiled as he threw his blade at Anko. It's not that easy, Anko, Orochimaru said to her as the sword impaled her body. Anko smiled as her body turned to smoke and a seal came shooting at Orochimaru. Shit, Orochimaru said. The seal hit his body. Soon a seal appeared on his body and faded. Orochimaru hit the ground as he got up. Was that supposed to do something? He asked her. Anko nodded. Yep, it does this, Anko said as she disappeared. Orochimaru waited as he tried to feel for her presence. He didn't react fast enough as Anko planted her foot into his stomach. Orochimaru gasped as he fell down in pain. Damn it, she is too fast. Oh well, I didn't want to use this, but now there is no choice, Orochimaru said to himself. As Anko walked up to him, Orochimaru did his hand signs. Haijutsu, he said as he smiled. Orochimaru's smile faded as nothing happened. Anko tried to compose herself from laughing as she looked at Orochimaru's display to use a jutsu. Sorry Orochimaru, the seal I placed on you is a chakra restriction seal, however this one is different, for a limited amount of time it transfers your chakra to me. So in addition to my own, I now have yours also, Anko explained. Orochimaru gasped. He was in trouble. Anko smiled. Basically, you are just as human as a civilian, Anko said to him. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. He knew this was a different Anko. This Anko was so powerful and strong. All the emotional ties that would have held her down against him were gone. This Anko played with him like he was nothing, but a genin to her. Anko picked up Orochimaru by his neck and pinned him to a tree. Tread softly where you step Orochi, I can you, but I won't, so I will settle for this, Anko said as she bit his neck. She smiled as she pulled her neck back and sunshined out of the area though her voice echoed. My present to you Orochimaru, I can't tell you what it is, but it will cause you immense pain, Anko said to him. Orochimaru fell back on a tree. I might have to call this invasion off, Orochimaru thought as he laid there. With Anko. Anko was running through the trees with a big smile on her face. I can't believe this power. I toyed with Orochimaru. I felt like he was nothing compared to me. Thank you for this Naruto-kun, Anko said as she ran to leave the gates. With Naruto and his group, Team 7 had made it to the tower with 3 days to spare. As they entered the hall they took out their scrolls and rolled them on the floor. Soon the scrolls glowed as words were spelled out. Soon Iruka came and took the scrolls. Nicely done everyone. You all pass, congratulations, Iruka said to them. Everyone nodded. Is anyone else here? Haku asked. Iruka nodded. Only Suna's team. They got here a few hours before you guys, he said to them. Everyone shrugged their shoulders. Oh well, you can't always be first, Shizune said to them. Everyone laughed, but nodded. Yeah, I guess not. Come on guys, let's go rest, we have quite a few days for recovery, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they walked off. They all went into a private room as they sat down and discussed some plans. So what do we do now Naruto? Kiba asked. Naruto turned to him as he sat on the couch. What do you mean Kiba? He asked. Kiba sighed. Who else are you recruiting to the destruction of Konoha? Kiba asked. Naruto leaned his head back on the couch. I have a few ideas, don't worry, Naruto said with a smile. Kiba nodded as he laid back. So are these people going to live at the Namikaze compound with you? He asked. Naruto nodded. Yeah, if they want. I won't force anyone to live there, Naruto told him. Kiba nodded as he laid back into the chair. Naruto lifted up his head with only some slight worry as he turned to Kiba. So Kiba, what did your family say? Naruto asked. Kiba's eyes shot open as he turned to Naruto. Kiba thought it over and smiled. They said that you can count on them for help. Apparently my family was also getting sick of Konoha's mistreatment of animals as they used them for experimentation. So my family told me to tell you that you can fully count on the Inuzuka clan for this, Kiba said to him. Naruto laughed. Wow, so your mother agreed to it? He asked. Kiba nodded. She was the first to agree, my sister being the second. Oh, one more thing. Both said that they wanted to meet you later after the Chunin exams, Kiba mentioned. Naruto nodded then looked up at the ceiling. I wonder what they want. Naruto said in his thoughts. Shizune and Haku came through the door to see the guys on the couch. Naruto and Kiba looked up at them. So anything new, Shizu-chan? Haku-chan? Naruto asked. Both blushed, but shook their heads. No, nothing, Naruto-kun, Shizune said to him. I don't think anyone is coming until tomorrow, Haku answered. Naruto nodded. Alright, let's get some sleep then. Naruto was interrupted by a crash into his chest. Naruto fell to the floor as he registered the figure. Naruto looked to see purple hair and a dango stick inside the person's mouth. Hello, Anko-chan, Naruto said to her. Anko looked up cheerfully. Hello, Naru-kun, Anko said to him. Naruto smiled. Naruto-kun, this power is incredible. I took on Orochimaru like he was nothing. I wasn't even serious. Thank you for the power, my love, Anko said to him. Naruto nodded. You're very much welcome, my snake mistress, Naruto said as he kissed her cheek. Anko blushed a bit before getting of Naruto. Naruto got up as he motioned for his group. Everyone got up as Naruto began an explanation. Alright everyone, after the 3 days, we will have preliminary matches. After that we will be given a month of training to prepare for the finals. I have no doubt all of us will make the finals, so have fun, and if you fight a Konoha shinobi, try not to them, Naruto said to them. Everyone laughed but nonetheless nodded. Naruto nodded as he turned to Anko. Hey Anko-chan, can examinees leave the place? Naruto asked. Anko looked confused but nodded. Yes, all those who pass are allowed to leave, but must be back before the prelims start, Anko told him. Naruto nodded with a smile. Alright, then I will meet with Sum-chan and Hana-chan, and a bit later I will take Anko-chan on her date, Naruto told her. Anko smiled as she nodded. Alright Naruto-kun, pick me up at 7. She asked. Naruto smiled. Wouldn't think of missing it, Naruto told her. Anko nodded as she shunshined back home to find a dress. Shizune and Haku nodded as they sat back on the couch to take a few hours to sleep. Kiba decided to walk Akamaru and left. Naruto sighed. Okay, time to see what is up with the Inuzukas, Naruto said as he shunshined out of the building. Inuzuka compound. Sum and Hana were sitting quietly in the living room as talked about recent events, more precisely their love lives. Hana, you need to get a guy already. You're 18 and you've turned down every guy who has asked you out, why won't you try someone? Sum asked. Hana blushed as she looked at her mother. What about you, mother? It has been 3 years since father's death and I don't see you trying to find anyone either, Hana defended. Sum got quiet as she looked down. I guess so. Maybe running the clan takes too much of my time, Sum told her. Hana turned to her mother and smiled. Come on, mother. I am sure someone will go for you, Hana said, trying to cheer up her mother. Sum laughed as she turned to her daughter. Hee, I wonder about that. Still, you should find someone strong and dependable, like Naruto, Sum told her. Hana blushed brightly at the thought of her and Naruto dating. She had to admit that he had piqued her interest. She heard Anko say how strong the kid was on the battlefield. It did make her want to at least see him. Would you try Naruto, mother? Hana asked. Sum looked up as she thought about it. That might not be so bad, I think, but I am more than half his age, Sum told her. Hana smiled. Shouldn't stop you from trying, she said to her. Sum blushed as she looked at Hana. Since when did you get so good at convincing people? Sum asked. Hana smiled. Since the times I see you talk with people, Hana told her. The two women laughed as they heard a knock on the door. Sum got up and walked to the door. Who is it? She asked. It's Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said to her. Sum smiled as she opened the door. Sum smiled as she saw a 13-year-old Naruto in his clothes as he entered the house. Hello, Naruto. What brings you here? She asked. Naruto smiled. Kiba said you and Hana wanted to talk to me, Naruto told her. Sume's face lit up in realization. Oh, that's right, please come in, she said to him. Naruto nodded as he followed her to the living room. Sume smiled as she entered the living room. Hana, we have a guest, Sume said, getting Hana to turn around. Hana turned to see Naruto walk in and blushed. Naruto, why are you here? Hana asked, brimming with embarrassment. Naruto chuckled as he saw the way the two were acting. You said you needed to talk to me, Naruto told her. Hana's eyes shot up as she nodded. Oh, that's right, please sit down, Hana said to him. Naruto nodded as he sat on the floor with them. Sume and Hana decided to begin. So Naruto, we did agree to help you, but can you tell us why you want Konoha destroyed? Hana asked. Naruto's smile faded as he looked up at the ceiling. He sighed as he looked back down. Naruto told them his story. How he lost everything to Sasuke and how the village cheered for his dead daughter's death. How he was from the future, and how everything led up to this point. Both Hana and Sume were in tears from the whole story. Sume pounded the floor with her fist while Hana tried to regain control of her emotions. Naruto ended his story and stopped. That is the truth, Naruto told them. Both women nodded as they stopped crying. Sume bit her thumb. Damn that Uchiha. So he thinks he can do whatever the hell he wants and not have consequences. Oh, I will show him how an Inuzuka fights, Sume said. Naruto smiled as he heard her promise. Naruto grabbed both their hands and looked at them. Thank you for your help and support. I really need you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, he said to them. Both women blushed as they nodded. Their hearts started beating fast as they felt his warm hands on theirs. Sure, Naruto, we would be more than honored to help you, Sume said to him. Naruto nodded. Just one thing. I need to show you my true self, Naruto told them. Both women nodded. They now knew that Naruto was only hanged to look young, but wasn't really 13. Naruto did his sign as he released the jutsu. Kai! He yelled. Smoke filled the room as the two waited to see what he looked like. As the smoke cleared, both women blushed heavily as their mouths fell to the ground. They saw the cute fox ears, the fox tail, and his wonderful body. Both women tried to speak, but had the exact same thoughts. Naruto is so hot, that kami-like body is amazing, they both thought. Naruto smiled as he looked at them drool over his body. You like it? He asked. Both women snapped out of their dazes as Sume ran up and claimed Naruto's right shoulder. Hana, I will take your advice and I will date Naruto, Sume said to her. Hana shook her head as she claimed Naruto's other arm. Mother, you told me to meet some guys, so let me take Naruto, Hana told her. Both women argued over Naruto as they felt his chiseled muscles on their arms. Naruto smiled as he enjoyed the attention. This body causes much more trouble for me than I think, but I am not complaining, Naruto said as he got them to let go. Wait, you're both looking for guys to date? Naruto asked. Both women nodded as kneeled down. Naruto chuckled as he got down on one knee and hugged them both. I am more than willing to share if you both are, Naruto said in their ears. Both women blushed as they looked at each other. They both smiled as they each grabbed on of Naruto's arms. Just to let you know, Naruto, Inuzuka women like a strong man for their mate, Sume said to him. Naruto smiled. You saying I'm not strong? Naruto asked. Sume and Hana smiled. As you consider yourself now, what shinobi rank are you? They asked. Naruto smiled. Anbu level. Maybe Kage if I go all out, Naruto told them. Sume blushed and Hana squealed. Both smiled at each other and nodded. Need no stronger man than that, they both said as they kissed him on the cheek. Naruto smiled. So when do I date the two lovely ladies of the Inuzuka compound? Naruto asked. Both smiled. Whenever you like. Just don't keep us waiting, Hana told him. Naruto nodded. Alright. Then how about tonight at 7:15? Naruto asked. Sume and Hana nodded. Naruto smiled as he kissed Hana on her cheek and Sume on her cheek. See you in 4 hours, Naruto said to them as he left. Sume and Hana laid on the couch and laughed. To think we got the same guy, it's amazing, Hana said to her mother. I wonder how amazingly flexible he is, Sume wondered. Hana blushed as she looked at her mother. Why are you already thinking about that? She asked. Sume smiled. Not sure, but it still amazes me he has other girls. I am so happy for the CRA, Sume said to Hana. Hana nodded in agreement. I will be so happy with such a kami near me, Hana said with a little chuckle. Sume got up and stretched. Well, I am going to go upstairs, she said to her daughter. Why? Hana asked. I have a date tonight, Sume said as she ran upstairs. Hana laughed as she ran to her room to find a dress. Namikaze compound. Naruto arrived home to see Zabuza sleeping on the couch. Naruto laughed as he crept up to his room. Poor guy must have tired himself out from training, Naruto thought as he walked upstairs. As he passed by the rooms, Naruto saw Haku's door open. Naruto peeked inside to see his Haku-chan on the bed reading a book in her gown. Naruto almost fainted from the sight of her long hair on the pink gown that she was wearing. Naruto smiled as he entered. So when did you get here? He asked her. Haku startled to see her blonde at the entrance. Haku blushed as she put her book down. I got here about 30 minutes ago. The tower was getting boring so I left, Haku told him. Naruto nodded. Oh okay, well have fun reading your book, Naruto told her. As Naruto left, Haku fidgeted as she thought to herself. Come on, just grab him. You have been dating the guy for 6 months. You love him and he loves you, so just go for it, Haku said to herself. Haku nodded her head. Alright, go for it, she said to herself. Naruto-kun, Haku said, getting his attention. Naruto turned around. Yes, Haku-chan, Naruto said to her. Haku blushed as she looked at him. Do you love me? She asked. Naruto smiled as he sat on the bed. Of course I love you. What is it? He asked. Haku looked at him and smiled. I want to love all of you and I want you to love all of me, Haku confessed. Naruto blushed as he heard her confession. While Naruto was in shock, Haku looked at him. Is that bad? She asked. Naruto snapped out of his daze and kissed her. Haku gasped as she felt his warm lips on hers. Naruto separated from her and smiled. Of course not. I love you, Haku-chan. Let me show you my love, Naruto told her. Haku blushed, but nodded. Please love me, Naruto-kun, Haku said to him. Naruto-kun, she yelled as she came inside his mouth. Naruto accepted the drink as he leaned up and swallowed it all. Naruto also made Haku blush when he licked his fingers. That was nice, Haku-chan, Naruto told her. Haku huffed as she came down for another high. Haku got up and pushed Naruto on the bed. She soon crawled to him and smiled. It is my turn for some fun, Naruto-kun, Haku said as she took off his boxers. Haku stared at the large figure. It's so big, I might break just from my first time, Haku said as she stroked the thick member. Naruto groaned as he felt Haku's slick fingers on his hardness. Haku smiled at Naruto's reaction, and soon she licked it, getting even more groans from a pleased Naruto. Haku-chan, that feels good, Naruto told her. Haku smiled as she brought her mouth over his head and began to softly him off. Haku could feel the thickness reach the depths of her throat as she strived to give Naruto his pleasure. Haku managed a few deep throats, but since she was new at this, she didn't hold it for long. Naruto could feel his hardness twitch as he realized how close he was. The feeling of Haku's tongue, Her throat and her hands were all too much to take as he released inside her mouth. Haku gladly swallowed the liquid as she took her mouth off his. Haku made sure to swallow everything as she licked her lips. Very sweet Naruto-kun, Haku told him. Naruto smiled as he grabbed Haku's arms and immediately switched their positions. Haku stared into his cerulean eyes as he smiled. I am going in now, Haku-chan, Naruto told her. Haku nodded. She completely surrendered herself to Naruto. Naruto gently pushed inside as he felt the tight inner walls of Haku around his hardness. Haku tried to withstand the pain as she braced herself for what was to come. Naruto managed to enter Haku with one thrust as he broke her hymen, causing her to flinch a little. Naruto could feel her blood pour on his member as it stained the bed. Haku smiled as she looked up at Naruto. I am now officially Naruto-kun's woman, Haku said with a few tears falling off her face. Naruto smiled as he cupped her cheek. And you always will be, Naruto told her. Haku nodded as Naruto began to move slowly. Haku felt her insides writhe in pleasure as she felt the fullness of Naruto's hard member inside her. As Haku got adjusted to the pain, Naruto was able to move faster and harder as Haku's moans filled the house. Haku kept screaming Naruto's name over and over as Naruto gave her immense pleasure. Oh Naruto-kun, it is incredible, I love this feeling, I love you so much, Haku screamed. Naruto smiled as he continued to thrust inside her. Haku felt herself get lost in a sea of pleasure as she felt Naruto's harden. Naruto-kun, I am coming close, Haku said to him. Naruto nodded. Me too, Haku-chan, I can't hold out, Naruto told her. Haku, almost being sent over the edge, screamed. Naruto-kun, come inside me, I'd feel you inside me to the very end, come with me, Haku said to him. Naruto nodded as he thrust her faster into Haku. Haku and Naruto managed to release together in one scream. Naruto-kun, Haku yelled. Haku-chan, Naruto yelled. Both screamed as Naruto came inside Haku, filling her up completely, and Haku's love juices stained Naruto's. Naruto took his out as he laid next to Haku. Haku smiled as she looked at her blonde. I will love you forever, Naruto-kun, Haku told him. Naruto smiled. I will love you forever, Haku-chan, Naruto said to her. Haku gave him one more kiss before she went to sleep on his shoulder. Naruto smiled as he fell asleep also. Naruto woke up to see his ice mistress next to him as she laid on his body. Naruto chuckled at the loving sight as he gave his Haku a kiss on the cheek. Haku smiled in her sleep as she stirred awake. Haku looked up at her blonde with a loving smile. Glad to see you are awake, Naruto told her. Haku smiled as she nodded. Well, I was tired from our interaction today, Haku told him. Naruto smiled as he got out of bed. He let Haku stay in bed as he decided to get dressed. He remembered he promised 3 lovely ladies their dates, and who was he to disappoint? Naruto left Haku's room and went back to his room to get his clothes. As he headed to his room, Naruto passed Anko's room and saw her in her delicates trying to pick out a dress. No, not this one, or maybe this one. Nah, oh, this is perfect, Anko said with a happy smile. Naruto decided to leave as not to ruin the surprise of Anko in her dress. Naruto entered his room as he saw Shizune on the bed sleeping. Naruto smiled as he kissed her cheek. Shizune smiled as she squinted her eyes to see Naruto's form. What a loving wake-up call, you going somewhere? She asked. Naruto nodded as he got his suit on. He smiled as he sat on the bed with Shizune. Just to ask, why are you okay with sharing me? He asked. Shizune pondered Naruto's question as she sat up and rubbed her eyes. Naruto waited on the bed for her to reply to his question. After 3 minutes of thinking, Shizune decided to answer. In truth, Naruto-kun, I am not sure. I just know that if other women love you as much as me, then they should get the chance to be with you also, Shizune told him. Naruto nodded in understanding as he kissed Shizune on the lips. After he broke the kiss, Naruto looked at her. That is why I love you, Shizu-chan, Naruto told her. Shizune nodded and smiled as she went back to sleep. Naruto smiled as he left the room and went downstairs. Naruto stood at the door and waited for his snake mistress to appear. As he waited, he spotted Zabuza on the couch. Naruto decided to give Zabuza his mark since he had the time. Naruto walked over to Zabuza as he made the swordsman look up. What's up, Gaki? He asked. Naruto smiled as he leaned closer. I have to give you the mark now, Naruto said to him. Zabuza nodded as Naruto bit his neck. Zabuza was a little freaked out from the action. He could handle pain, but to get bite on the neck by a guy felt weird. Naruto took his teeth out of Zabuza's neck as the mark appeared on him. Soon Zabuza glowed in a red light as it changed his features. His ears were now on his head and he grew a gray fox tail that swayed around him as the light died down. Naruto smiled at Zabuza's features. Not bad, Zabuza, Naruto told him. Zabuza checked himself out in a mirror and smiled. I feel like I could conquer the world with this power, Zabuza said to him with a smile. Naruto nodded as he did a hand sign and released Zabuza's gravity seals. Zabuza saw the purple light fade as he felt lighter than a feather. Man, I feel so light, I think I am too fast to be seen, Zabuza said to Naruto. Naruto nodded. Because you are, you can now do the true silencing even with your sword, Naruto told him. Zabuza grabbed his sword and lifted it up like it was a paperweight. So easy to lift, I could toss this thing for miles, he said with a smile. Go give your power a try outside, Naruto told him. Zabuza gladly nodded and ran outside for more training. Naruto decided to make a shadow clone as smoke appeared around him and out came the clone. Well, almost time to pick up the girls, Naruto told him clone. The clone nodded as it left the house to go get Hana and Sume. Naruto waited for Anko to appear as he stood next to the door. After 3 minutes, Anko showed herself as Naruto took a long glance at her. Anko smiled as she walked down in a purple dress that showed most of her back and came down to her knees. Naruto almost got a nosebleed from the dress as he looked at Anko. How does this look, Naruto-kun? Anko asked, eager to know the blonde's opinion. Naruto regained his composure and checked out his snake mistress. He only had one word to say. Gorgeous, Naruto said to her. Anko blushed at his compliment. As she came down to greet him, she took a scan at his suit that hugged his hard body. Anko could practically drool over the hotness Naruto was showing. Naruto smiled as he was satisfied with Anko's reaction. Naruto took out his arm as Anko looked up. Shall we go now? He asked. Anko smiled as she put her hands over his shoulder. Let's go, Naruto-kun, Anko said as Naruto led her out of the compound. With the other Naruto, the Naruto clone roamed the trees until he came up to the Inuzuka compound. He fixed his tie as he knocked on the door. He waited for about a minute until Sume opened the door. The Naruto clone almost dispelled from the dress Sume had on as he entered the house. You like it, Naruto? Sume asked. Naruto only nodded as he gazed at her dress. Sume sported a purple dress also, but this one was strapless and came down to her thighs. Sume also let her hair down as it came down to her shoulders. Naruto could get a clear view of her chest that really was defined. Sume blushed at his intense gaze as she brought him out of his daze. I am glad you like this dress, Sume told him. Naruto smiled as he got out of his stares. You really pick a good one, Naruto told her. He looked around, but didn't see Hana. Where is Hana-chan? He asked. Sume smiled as she pointed upstairs. She is getting ready right now, Sume told him. Naruto nodded as he led Sume to the couch and the two sat down as they waited for Hana. So Sume-chan, please tell me about yourself, like your likes, dislikes, and hobbies, Naruto told her. Sume smiled as she nodded. Alright then, well as my date knows, I am Sume Inuzuka, I run the Inuzuka clan for a long time now, my likes are dogs, lounging, and, you. My dislikes are animal abusers, perverts, people who aren't tough and currently. Konoha. My hobby is training Kiba to be the next clan heir. Sume told him. Naruto nodded with a smile. All good things Sume-chan, Naruto told her. Sume blushed at the compliment. Thank you Naruto, Sume told him. Soon after some talking, Hana came downstairs in her dress. Sorry I am late, she said to them. Naruto looked up and almost lost his mind. Too gorgeous, Naruto thought as he looked at Hana. Hana straightened her hair more as it easily fell down passing her shoulders. She sported a red dress with straps hanging from her shoulders. She had a moon crescent design on her dress and she wore some red high heels. Hana blushed as she saw Naruto's face. Why you like it Naruto? She asked. Naruto blushed as he looked up and smiled. It looks so good on you Hana-chan, Naruto told her. Hana blushed and looked at the ground. Thank you Naruto, Hana told him. Naruto nodded as he headed for the door. He smiled as he opened the door. Well ladies, let us go now, Naruto told them. Both women blushed and nodded as they walked out of the house. Both women took one of Naruto's arms as they walked off. With Naruto and Anko, as they walked through the village, Anko could feel the stares on her and Naruto as they walked through the streets. So where are you taking me Naruto-kun? Anko asked. Naruto smiled as he shook his head. No Anko-chan, it is a surprise, Naruto told her. Anko happily laid on Naruto's side as they walked. She was really looking forward to the surprise. As Naruto walked up to a restaurant he smiled as Anko looked up in amazement. Why you have the money for this place? Anko asked him. Naruto scoffed. Anko-chan, of course I do, you wound me, Naruto said to her. Anko smiled as she kissed his cheek. I am sorry Naruto-kun, don't be mad at me, Anko pleaded with her eyes. Naruto blushed as he kissed her back. Couldn't be mad at you Anko-chan, come on, Naruto told her. Anko nodded as they walked up to the restaurant. As they entered the restaurant, Naruto took her up to the top of the building as they sat at a table with a spectacular view of Konoha. Even though they hated Konoha, they had to admit that it did have nice views. So you like the view Anko-chan? Naruto asked her. Anko smiled as she rested her hands on the table. This is a spectacular view Naruto-kun even if it is of this damn place, thank you, she told him. Naruto nodded as they took their orders for their food. As they sat down they went over their past lives and how they were brought to this point. Anko told Naruto about her past with Orochimaru and his betrayal. Naruto could tell it was a sore subject for her as she let a few tears fall down her face. Naruto could now see that their lives were very much similar. As they were served their food, both let the night of romance sweep them away as they enjoyed each other's company. With Naruto, Sume, and Hana. As they Inuzuka women held on to the blonde, they got their share of stares from the crowd of people. Some people thought the two were insane for dating a demon, others were jealousy that the blonde had more than one woman. Sume and Hana could see some of the women drool over Naruto's body which earned them a scowl from the two women that said, back thee off. Naruto decided to let their date begin. So where would you two ladies like to go? He asked them. Both looked at him then looked at each other. Both smiled as they turned back to him. Dancing, they both told him. Naruto smiled as he took them to a bar nearby. As he walked them there, he just had to ask his question. So why dancing? He asked them. Both smiled as they explained. Naruto, Inuzuka men and women all love to move, we can never really sit still. So we are like a family of dancers, they told him. Naruto laughed as he nodded. All right, dancing it is, he said to them. Both women nodded as they entered the bar. Naruto sat them down as he disappeared for a second. Both women sat on their stools as they waited for him to return. Being two hot-looking women, they would naturally draw attention to themselves. Soon two guys came up to them with smiles on their face masking some hidden intentions. Hey ladies, mind giving us a dance? A man asked. Sum and Hana narrowed their eyes and looked away. No thank you, we are with someone so get lost, Sum said to them. One of the men stood to her and grabbed her hand. Come on pretty, just one dance, he told her. Sum was getting angry and Hana knew that an angry Sum was never a good thing for any reason. I will tell you to keep your filthy hands off me and my daughter, now leave, Sum ordered. One of them shrugged and backed off to leave, the other obviously wasn't as smart. Listen woman, I asked you nicely, now dance with me or else, he said holding up a kunai. Hana shook her head as Sum was about to react, but didn't and formed a smile. Hana looked up and smiled also. What are you two laughing at? He asked. Oh nothing, our date returned and he seems more than pissed, Sum said to him. The man turned around to be met with one of the angriest glares he had ever met. He turned to see a blonde with a kunai at his throat. Naruto turned to his girls and smiled. Any trouble here ladies? He asked. Hana and Sum nodded. Apparently this man thinks he can force us to dance with him, Hana told Naruto. Naruto sighed as he grabbed the man's arm and twisted it making it crack. The man screamed for Naruto to let go. Naruto smiled as he let the man go as he fell to the floor. Naruto grabbed his collar and looked him right in the eyes. Listen you piece of shit, these women are with me, they are my dates, and if I ever see you lay your filthy hands on them, I will make you disappear so fast that not even the best tracker ninja in the world can find you, Naruto told him. The man nodded as he ran out the door. Naruto walked up to his girls and gave them a hug. Are my ladies okay? He asked them. Sum and Hana smiled and nodded. Yeah Naruto, we are okay, thank you for that, they said to him. Naruto nodded and gave them a smile. Anything for my ladies, he said to them, causing both to blush a dark red. Hana snapped out of her daze and looked at Naruto. So where did you go Naruto-kun? Hana asked. Naruto smiled. Me and the person who works here are friends and I got him to play a song selection that I know you will like, Naruto told them. Both women smiled as they followed Naruto to the dance floor. Soon the room blazed with multicolor lights as music blazed around the dance floor. Sum and Hana smiled at the music that Naruto gave them. Soon the girls dragged him to the floor. Naruto decided to make another shadow clone as they pair off and danced wildly to the music. Sum could feel Naruto guide her to the fast beats of the music that made her heart pound with excitement. Hana glided along the dance floor as Naruto followed her in perfect unison, not missing a beat. Both women were fully enjoying their night as they danced with their blonde. The stage lights blazed around the bar and they attracted the attention of some customers there. All the people cheered for the women and their dance partners as the dance floor raged in excitement. Sum could honestly say that she had never had so much fun even with her husband. Hana could feel that Naruto was the one for her. She had dated plenty of guys, but he seemed like the person she wanted to be with the most. Naruto smiled as he saw his Inuzuka ladies and their expressions. Naruto was very thankful for his stamina. He knew that if he didn't have such a large amount of it, he would probably have passed out by now. As the music slowed down, the pace between the Sum, Naruto, and Hana slowed as they were brought into a slow dance. Both women blushed as they glided along the floor with Naruto. You can be a real charmer, Naruto-kun, Sume said to him. Naruto was surprised at the suffix, but smiled. It's all for my ladies. Love you, Sume-chan, Naruto told her. Sume blushed as she muttered something about blonde men and their charming ways. Hana was enjoying the closeness with Naruto as she felt his warm body on hers. Hana could feel her heart beat rapidly from the feeling. Naruto smiled as he looked at her. I hope you are enjoying yourself, Hana, Naruto told her. Hana blushed as she looked at him. This is the best night of my life, Naruto-kun. Thank you for this, Hana told him. Naruto smiled as he leaned close to her. I would do anything for my ladies. I love you, Hana-chan, Naruto told her. Hana blushed but nodded as the music slowly stopped. Naruto took the girls as they left the dance floor to get something to eat. With Anko and Naruto. Anko and Naruto had finished their meals after an intriguing conversation about destroying Konoha. Anko smiled as Naruto decided to take her home. As they walked in the crowd, Naruto's eyes met one of the civilian council's eyes as she blinked to make sure she wasn't dreaming. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the pink-haired woman. Great of all people, it's the pink bitch mother, Naruto said as he and Anko passed her. Sukuna looked back at them as they left. I should inform the Hokage about this. Having multiple women is only for clans, she said to herself as she walked off. Naruto sighed. Anko-chan, I think I might see the Hokage after the prelims, Naruto told her. Anko turned to her blonde in confusion. Why? She asked. Naruto sighed. I think a certain pink bitch will want you and my other ladies to break up with me and go to the damned Uchiha, Naruto told her. Anko narrowed her eyes. I'd like to see them try and force me to marry his I would them all, Anko said to him. Naruto smiled. I could always count on you, but there is no need, I will take care of it, Naruto assured her. Anko nodded as the two went home. Naruto wanted to do some more, but he and Anko had the exams tomorrow and they had to get back early, so Naruto took her home. Namikaze compound. Before the two entered the compound, Anko hugged Naruto and gave him a deep kiss. Naruto smiled as he wrapped his hands around her and kissed her back, dominating her lips. As they separated, Anko smiled at him. Thank you for the date, Naruto-kun. I hope to do this again, Anko told him. Naruto nodded. Anytime, Anko-chan. I love you, so of course we will date again, Naruto told her. Anko nodded as she went inside. Naruto smiled as he waited for his clone to disperse, telling him how the date went. With Sume, Hana, and Naruto, everyone was at a table eating their food as they enjoyed the night. As the women looked at Naruto, they nodded as they turned to him. So Naruto-kun, tell us your likes and dislikes and hobbies, they said to him. Naruto smiled as he looked up from his food. Alright, why not? He said to them. Both women listened intently to him. My likes are ramen, my family, embarrassing the Uchiha and his bitch, also I love my ladies, Naruto said to them, making them blush as he continued. My dislikes are Konoha in general, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, the council and anyone who harms my precious people. My hobby is training, thinking of ways to destroy Konoha and spending time with my family, Naruto told them. Both women nodded in understanding. Naruto smiled as he turned to Hana. Oh, I got your mother, Hana. What about you? He asked her. Hana blushed as she looked down at the table. My likes are dogs, my family, training and Naruto-kun. My dislikes are animal abusers, those who don't train seriously, Konoha, and those who are conceited. My hobby taking care of animal at the village animal hospital where I work, Hana told him. Naruto smiled as he nodded. Like mother like daughter in some ways, I love that, Naruto said in his thoughts. Naruto turned to them and smiled. Alright then, ladies, Shall we finish our meals and head home? He told them. Both women smiled and nodded. Everyone soon finished their food as they engaged in casual conversation. Soon Naruto took the two women home. In Izuka compound, Naruto led them up to the door to where they turned to him. Early morning, Naruto got up from his bed to see his lovely wife, Shizune, sleeping next to him. Naruto smiled as he kissed her cheek. Shizune squirmed awake as she turned to see her blonde next to her. Good morning, Naruto-kun, Shizune said to him. Naruto smiled as he looked at her. Good morning, my demon mistress, Naruto said to her. Shizune chuckled at the name as she got up. Today the second exam is over, right? She asked. Naruto nodded. That's right. Now let's get our team and head out, Naruto told her. Shizune nodded as she went to wash up and get ready. Naruto soon followed as he washed his body also. Soon both came out of the room as they went to Haku's room. Naruto saw Haku soundly asleep and didn't want to wake her up, but he had to. Haku-chan, wake up my ice mistress, Naruto said to her. Haku squirmed awake as she turned to her blonde leader and boyfriend on the bed. Haku got up slowly and adjusted her eyes. What day is it? She asked. Naruto smiled. Today is the prelims for the Chunin exams, Naruto told her. Haku opened her eyes as she went to the bathroom. Naruto and Shizune smiled as they waited on the bed. So what do you think the chances are of you fighting Sasuke? Shizune asked. Naruto showed an evil smirk as he looked at her. I really don't know, but he better be hope that for his sake he doesn't fight me cause I would him, Naruto said to her. Shizune smiled as she leaned on Naruto's shoulder. You know, today is Kurami's birthday, Shizune said with a sad smile. Naruto nodded also. I know, she would have been too today, Naruto said to Shizune. Shizune let a tear fall down her face as Naruto comforted her. Don't worry, Shizune. I don't know how, but we will get Kurami back, Naruto swore. Shizune looked at him and gave him a kiss. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Shizune told him. Soon Haku came in with her clothes on as the two looked at her. Both nodded as the three went downstairs. Naruto saw Zabuza in his Jonin vest as he ate breakfast. Going somewhere, Zabuza? Naruto asked him. Zabuza nodded. Yeah, I got a mission with some of the Chunin later, Zabuza told him. Naruto nodded in a smile as the three left the house. Zabuza smirked as he went back to his breakfast. Kick Naruto, Shizune, Haku, Zabuza said to the door. As Naruto's group left, they met up with Kiba as Naruto grabbed them and Sunshine to the tower. At the tower, Anko sat on a couch as she calmly waited for her team. No sooner than her thoughts, Naruto and his group appeared with full smiles. Anko sighed as she got up. All right, everyone is here, let's get started, Anko said to them. Everyone nodded as they all walked out and lined up with the rest of the genin who were lucky enough not to die. Naruto turned as he saw Sasuke with his hand on his neck. Naruto smirked as he looked around the room. He saw the Suna team, Guy's team, and all of the other rookies. What surprised Naruto a little was when he saw Kin, Dozu, and the supposed to be dead Zaku. Naruto turned to Shizune who smirked. Oh joy, I get to him all over again, Shizune said to Naruto. Naruto smiled and nodded as he went into thought. I guess Orochimaru would use his resurrection jutsu, but I didn't know he would waste it on this guy, Naruto thought, but shrugged it off. Everyone turned their attention to the Hokage who was at the top of the stadium. Congratulations to all you genin who managed to survive this round. Because of the excess group of people, we will now have preliminary matches for everyone. When your name is called, come down to the area and fight. Good luck to you all, he said as he stepped back. Soon a man with a strange couch appeared in the center of the room. Couch, I am Hayate Gecko, and I will be your proctor for this part of the exam. Everyone get off the floor. Sasuke and Akado Yoroi stay on, Hayate announced. Naruto smirked as he walked up the stairs muttering something about the emo escaping death. As his team went to the side, they all looked at the fight. Naruto turned to wave to a blushing Hinata and the calm Shino. As Sasuke and Akado stood on the floor, Hayate brought his hand down and backed away. Hajime, he shouted as he backed up. Sasuke smirked as he looked at Akado. You should consider yourself lucky that you get to have your kicked by an Uchiha, Sasuke told him. Akado smiled as he replied. We will see, he said as he charged at Sasuke. Sasuke smirked as he ran at Akado. Both delivered a barrage of fast punches on the other as they countered every single one. Akado managed to grab Sasuke's head as his hand glowed. Sasuke felt his chakra drain as he pulled from the man's grip. I couldn't get all your chakra, oh well I will get the rest, he said as he charged. Sasuke smirked as Akado let out a punch. Sasuke ducked under the punch as he let out a kick at the man's stomach. Akado screamed in some pain as he was sent to the air. Sasuke smirked as he disappeared and reappeared behind Akado. Looks like I get to try my new move on you, Sasuke smiled as he brought his foot around. Akado anticipated the kick and blocked. Not that easy kid, he said to Sasuke. Sasuke still smiled as he twisted and brought his other foot around as he appeared in front of Akado. Sasuke sent a punch then other as Akado went towards the group. Sasuke still kept his arrogant smirk. You still have a long way to go, he said as he put his other foot on Akado's stomach and slammed him into the ground. Barrage of lions, Sasuke yelled as he stood over the knocked out Akado. Hayate came up and nodded. Winner. Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate said to him. Sasuke smirked as he went upstairs. He passed Naruto as he gave him a look that said, beat that doby. Naruto sighed as he looked at the board. Naruto smirked as he looked over at Zaku. Boy dude you are really unlucky, Naruto said to him. Naruto managed a wave at Kin who blushed but waved back. Zaku smiled as he saw his name, but didn't see the challenger's name. Alright watch me mop the floor with whoever this is, he said as he landed on the ground. Soon someone came down the stairs with a big smile. Zaku had his eyes closed trying to look calm as Hayate looked at the challenger. Hayate waved his hand. Hajime, he said as he backed away. Zaku opened his eyes as he was ready to fight. As soon as his eyes opened his face paled as he saw the last person he would have wanted to see. Nice to see you again Zaku, I hope to have fun again, Shizune said as her hand glowed with a chakra blade. Zaku's eyes showed absolute fear as he backed up into a wall. No not you, Zaku said as Shizune walked to him. Zaku could swear that he saw the gates of hell open as he looked into Shizune's eyes. Zaku lost all control of his will and screamed with terror in his voice. No. Stay away from me you psycho, I don't want to die, he shouted as he ran out the arena. Shizune showed a blank look on her face while in her mind she was laughing Harem. Meanwhile, all the audience, save Naruto's group were confused. The man sounded like the girl was going to him, which she had before. Shizune looked up in fake confusion. Does this mean I win? She asked. Hayate regained his senses and walked forward. Due to Zaku's withdrawal, winner, Shizune Kato, Hayate announced. Everyone decided to shrug off the victory as Shizune went up the stairs. She stood next to Naruto. Naruto smiled. You enjoy yourself? He asked. Shizune smiled. The way he screamed felt so good, that was too easy, Shizune told Naruto as they looked at the board. The next names came up to the screen. Hayate decided to speak. Next match. Haku vs Choji Akamaiki, Hayate said to her. Haku smiled as she nodded. Haku went down to the field as Choji appeared also. Hayate put his hand down. Hajime, he said to them. Choji smiled as he started. Nikuden Sensha, he yelled as his body rolled at Haku. Haku smiled as she took out her Senbo needles. Useless, I am too quick for that, she said as she disappeared, causing everyone to gasp, especially Sasuke. Choji lost track of her as he realized he was encased in a dome of ice walls. Sorry Choji-san, Haku said as her kunai slammed into his rolling body. Haku smiled as she formed some water. Sensatsu Susho, 1,000 needles of death, Haku yelled as the water formed into ice needles and shot at Choji. Choji screamed as the needles stuck to his body. Choji fell down unconscious. Hayate went over and looked at him. Winner. Haku, Hayate said with a cough. Haku nodded as she went back upstairs. Naruto and his team gave a shout of victory as they smiled. Suddenly they all saw Sasuke walk over to Haku. Look here girl, I am an Uchiha, and therefore I give you the honor of being my wife and bearing my children, Sasuke told her. Haku looked at him in confusion as she tried to fathom what he just said to her. Naruto sighed as he rolled his eyes. Kiba scowled at Sasuke, and Shizune narrowed her eyes. Anko narrowed her eyes at Sasuke. Everyone who could hear, waited for Haku's response, even the Jonin and the Hokage. Haku suddenly smirked as she leaned on Naruto and kissed his cheek. So sorry Uchiha, but this is my man, I would rather die than settle for anything less, she said with a smile. Almost everyone laughed as they heard Haku's response. Sasuke seethed as he walked back to his group. Kakashi narrowed his eyes as he walked to the girl. Naruto's eyes turned to slits as he saw the copy ninja advance towards their group. Here was the Uchiha's loyal dog, who bent over for his master. He always talked about friends and not abandoning them, but he was the main person who did just that in the future. Naruto could almost him, but resisted the intense urge. Haku was it? He asked with a sheepish grin. Haku turned to him and looked at him. Yes sir, she asked. Kakashi sighed. With all due respect, please reconsider Sasuke's proposal. He is a good boy and a powerful genin. I do believe that he would be the perfect husband for you instead of Naruto, Kakashi said, trying to show Naruto some humility and was failing badly at it. Haku narrowed her eyes at him. Was he telling her who she could love? Did he just say that Sasuke was better than Naruto? Haku seethed as she looked at the man still smiling. Listen here Kakashi, was it? I don't love the Uchiha and I never will. I love Naruto-kun and I won't tolerate people berating the man I love. Now get out of my presence before I turn you into a human refrigerator, Haku threatened. Kakashi and everyone widened their eyes at Haku as Naruto's group smirked. Kakashi narrowed his eyes, but nodded. Yes sorry Haku, he said as he left. Naruto smiled as he looked at her. Didn't know you loved me so much, Naruto told her. Haku looked at him and smiled. Ah Naru-kun, of course I love you. You are the only man I need, Haku told him. Naruto smiled as he kissed her. Hayate coughed as he brought everyone back to the match. Next match. Temari vs Tenten, he said as the weapons mistress and the wind mistress came down. Naruto smiled as he watched. He turned to his group. You guys know that we do need a person to make weapons for us, Naruto told them. Everyone nodded, as Anko smiled. You suggesting our weapons mistress down there? She asked. Naruto smiled. Maybe I am, Naruto told her. As they talked, everyone turned back to see that the match was over with Tenten over Temari's fan. Winner. Temari, Hayate said to them. Temari flung Tenten off her fan as she went upstairs, not before winking at Naruto. Naruto sighed as he smiled at her. I think I attracted the wind mistress also, Naruto told them. Everyone turned to see Temari staring at Naruto. Haku, Shizune, and Anko sighed while Kiba gave Naruto a thumbs up. Everyone turned back to see the board. Next, Shikamaru vs. Kin, Hayate said to them. Naruto gave Kin a thumbs up as she blushed, but went to fight Shikamaru. Man, why is it a girl? Shikamaru asked. Kin twitched. You saying there is something wrong with a girl? She asked. Shikamaru shrugged his shoulders. You know what? I give up this as a pain, he said with a yawn. Kin scoffed as she walked back upstairs. Winner. Kin, Hayate said to them. Everyone's jaw dropped to the ground as Asuma complained, to which Shikamaru ignored. The board lit up again. Ino Yamanaka vs. Kiba Inuzuka, Hayate called. Kiba smiled as he jumped down. Ino smiled also as she jumped down. Listen, dog breath, I am going to win this fight, Ino told him. Kiba smirked as he set Akamaru down. Just try it, you damn flower-loving bitch, Kiba said to her. Knowing Naruto's memories, Kiba saw that Ino was one of the main reasons Sasuke abandoned Kiba and left him to die. Knowing that pissed Kiba off to no end as he looked at her. Hajime, Hayate said to them. Kiba smiled as he charged Ino. Ino managed to dodge Kiba's charge, but he was too fast and grazed her shoulder. Kiba smirked as he let out some smoke bombs. Ino coughed as she tried to see in the smoke. You hiding, Kiba? Ino teased. Kiba scoffed. Not really. Yatsuga, fang over fang, Kiba shouted as he and Akamaru teared up the smoke and Ino inside. Everyone waited for the smoke to clear as they saw a battered Ino on the ground. Kiba smiled as he picked her up by the collar. Maybe you will think before abandoning me, he said as he tossed her to Hayate. Winner. Kiba Inuzuka, Hayate coughed. The board lit up again. Naruto Uzumaki vs Dozu, Hayate said. Naruto smiled as he looked at a trembling Dozu. Dozu couldn't handle the pressure or the fear and called to the proctor. Proctor, I give up, Dozu said to him. Everyone wondered why he would give up. Hayate looked at him suspiciously, but nodded. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki, Hayate said to them. Naruto nodded as he stayed back on the railing. Well, that was anticlimactic, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they looked at the board. Next match. Neji Hyuga vs Hinata Hyuga, Hayate said to them. Both went down as they faced each other. You are a loser and you always will be a loser, you cannot change that, Neji told her. Hinata smiled with a sudden brim of confidence as she activated her Byakugan. Then you shouldn't have much to worry about, Neji-ni-san, Hinata said as she charged him. Neji smiled as used his Byakugan also. Both went through a series of air palms as blue chakra blowed out of their hands as they tried to strike the other. Neji cursed for not being able to beat Hinata faster. Damn, how can she move so fluently? Neji wondered. Hinata shot forward as she managed to strike Neji in the shoulder. Neji cursed as he jumped back and gripped his shoulder. Damn it, he said. Hinata smirked. What's wrong, Ni-san? You look like you are having some trouble, Hinata told him. Shut up. You are a failure, Neji said as Hinata disappeared. Naruto and his group gasped. Hinata was never that strong. In fact, it took her 3 years to attain that speed, Naruto told them. Everyone turned to him in disbelief as they looked back at the match. Hinata reappeared behind Neji as she began to spin. Neji countered her move with his own as they collied and yelled. Kaden, they yelled as their opposite techniques clashed and exploded the arena. Everyone covered their eyes as the smoke settled down. Everyone saw Hinata standing over an unconscious Neji. Looks like you fail, Neji-ni-san, Hinata said to him. Hayate stood up over Neji. Winner. Hinata Hyuga, Hayate said. Hinata smiled as she walked back to the balcony. Naruto walked up to her. Nice job, Hinata-chan, Naruto told her. Hinata suddenly blushed seeing his face and looked down. Thank you and Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she squirmed back to her group. Hayate sighed. Next match. Kankuro vs Shino, he yelled. Kankuro cursed his luck and looked at the proctor. Proctor, I give up, he said him. Hayate coughed. What is with all of the forfeits today? He wondered. Winner. Shino Aburame, Hayate said to the bug user. Shino looked unenthusiastic as he laid back in depression. Hinata smiled as she went to comfort Shino. Last match. Sabaku no Gaara vs Rock Lee, Hayate called out. Lee smiled as he jumped off the railing. Gaara smiled as he shunshined in the sand. Hajime, he said to them. Lee charged Gaara and attempted a kick, but it was blocked by a wall of sand as Gaara stood still. Lee smiled as she tried to bypass the and, but to no avail. Lee was getting frustrated as he saw his attack were of no use. Gaara used his sand to sweep Lee of his feet and propelled him into a wall. Lee smiled as he climbed out of the concrete. Sorry Guy-sensei, Lee said as he took of his weights. The weights made a loud crash as they came down. Lee smiled. Ah, finally, now the fun can begin, Lee said as he disappeared. Gaara widened his eyes as he heard an impact behind him. He turned, but saw nothing. Then he heard a crash to the side, he still saw nothing but green blurs. Gaara was sent across the field as Lee managed to connect a punch to Gaara's face. Gaara made a crazy look at he smiled. Yes, this is what it means to be alive, Gaara said to Lee. Gaara's sand covered the area as Lee managed to dodge the strikes. Gaara was feeling more and more thrilled as his sand went over the arena. Lee managed to disappear again as he kicked Gaara into the air. Gaara gasped as Lee pushed him higher and higher away from his sand. Lee wrapped his cloths around Gaara as he began to spin. Omid Renge, primary lotus, he yelled as he and Gaara spiraled down. They hit the sand as Lee struggled to stand. Gaara was seen with cracks on his face as he began to pound Lee with his sand. Lee now knew he would lose if he didn't use it. Lee sighed as he charged his chakra. Lee's body began to change as his muscles tightened and his skin turned red. Lee looked at Gaara and disappeared. This is my power. With this I will win, Lee said as he slammed Gaara in the back and disappeared. Lee began this process until the two were in the air with Gaara getting hishanded to him by the green beast. Gaara seethed as he knew he couldn't defend against such speed. Lee smiled as he slammed his foot into Gaara's stomach. Ura Renge, hidden lotus, he yelled as they slammed into the ground causing a massive explosion. Lee couldn't even stand as he looked at Gaara. Gaara looked at him and stretched his hand out. Soon the sand went to get Lee as it surrounded his body. Lee cursed as he tried to get away but couldn't. Gaara's sand went at him and crushed Lee's arm and leg. Lee yelled in pain as he fell over unconscious. Gaara got up and breathed hard, then walked away. Winner. Gaara, Hayate said as the prelims ended. Sarutobi came up to the remains people. Naruto woke up to the sweet rays of sunshine that illuminated inside his house. Naruto looked at his surroundings as he realized where he was. Naruto smiled to see Shizune, Anko, and Haku all sleeping with him on his bed. Naruto chuckled to himself as he tried to get up. Well, I guess I won't disturb them, Naruto said as he got up and placed the girls gently back on the bed. Naruto went to the washroom as he saw Zabuza come out with a yawn. Hey Zabuza, have a good sleep? Naruto asked him. Zabuza turned to his Hanyu leader and softly smiled. Yes, I suppose, the beds here are the best I have ever felt, Zabuza said to him. Naruto smiled as he leaned against the wall. I am happy that you like them, Naruto told him. Zabuza nodded as he turned to leave. Naruto still smiled as he brought Zabuza back to his attention. Yes, Gaki? He asked. Naruto smiled as he left for a minute and came back with a scroll. Here Zabuza, Naruto said as he gave him the scroll. Zabuza took the scroll and opened it to see some water jutsu techniques listed in the scroll. Confused, Zabuza turned to look up at Naruto. Gaki, what is this? He asked. Naruto smiled. That is my clan's water jutsu. Some people of the clan were very proficient in water jutsu that could rival Nadaime, and I am going to let you learn those jutsu from that scroll, Naruto told him. Zabuza's mouth dropped. T techniques to rival the Nadaime? Zabuza said to him. Naruto simply nodded. That's right, Zabuza. I have seen your progress over the months and you are more than worthy to have it now, Naruto told him. Zabuza smiled as he gripped the scroll. Thank you, G. No, thank you, Naruto-sama, Zabuza said with a bow. Naruto waved his hand. It's all good, Zabuza. Go try them out, Naruto told him. Zabuza smiled as he ran downstairs and grabbed his sword to train in the compound. Naruto smiled as he went into the washroom. Unknown to him, Shizune and her companions got up also. They were surprised to see Naruto gone, but heard the water running and assumed he was in the washroom. Naruto-kun got away before I could kiss him, Shizune said with a slight pout. Haku laughed as Shizune turned to her. What are you laughing at? She asked. Haku smiled as she looked at her. Nothing. It's nothing, Shizune-san, Haku said as she got up and left the room. Anko smiled as she stretched and left. Well, I am going to find Zabuza for some training, Anko said with a smirk. Shizune stayed in the room and smiled as she laid on the bed. The fact that this family is only going to get bigger is a scary thought, but it's still fun, Shizune said as she decided to get up. Everyone was up and about as the day started, but Naruto had a hunch about who would destroy this evening. Hokage Mansion, and that is why you need to assemble the council against this action, Sukuna said to Sarutobi. The third sighed as he heard the pink banshee tell him about Naruto being with multiple women. Sukuna, I don't see the point to this. Naruto is free to love whoever and that person who loves him can love him. I don't see the need for a council meeting, Sarutobi told her. Sukuno's eyes narrowed. Sarutobi, you know that having multiple women is only for those of clan status, and as far as I know that Brat isn't a part of any clan, Sukuna told him. Sarutobi sighed. Technically she was right, but Sarutobi also knew that Naruto was actually a part of a clan status, but he couldn't say. Sarutobi puffed his pipe as he looked at her. Fine, I will assemble a council, but I am not interfering with it, Sarutobi told her. Sukuna nodded as she left the room. Sarutobi sat back in his seat as he looked at the picture of the Yondaime on the wall. Why do I think this meeting is going to be so troublesome? Sarutobi thought as he leaned into his chair. Namikaze compound. Naruto sat in a chair as everyone began to go over their training plans for the month. Alright, so we agree. I will work on my father's jutsu, Shizu-chan will work on her water and wind jutsus with Haku-chan, and Anko will train with Zabuza, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded in agreement. Naruto nodded as he laid back into the chair. Naruto smiled as he got up. Alright, I am going to the Inuzuka compound, anyone want to go? Naruto asked. Anko, Haku, and Shizune nodded to go, but Zabuza was obsessed with his recent gift from Naruto as he ran back to the field to train. Naruto chuckled as he saw Zabuza read over the water scroll. Naruto and his female companions left the house to go see Kiba, Hana, and Tsume. Naruto recently told them about Shizune, Haku, and Anko being his previous loves. Both women were a bit jealous, but decided that it didn't matter to them. As long as he loved them also, they didn't seem to mind. Inuzuka compound. As Naruto reached the Inuzuka compound, he knocked on the door for Kiba to answer. Hey, it's my leader. Hello, Naruto, Kiba said to him. Naruto smiled as he came into the house. Hey Kiba, Where are Sum-chan and Hana-chan? Naruto asked. Kiba smirked as he pointed to the living room. Naruto nodded a thank you as he went into the room to see Sum and Hana talking about him. So what are my girls talking about? Naruto asked. Both girls jumped as the object of their desire came into the room. Sum and Hana blushed as they looked at him. Nothing Naruto-kun, it was nothing, Sum told him. Naruto narrowed his eyes with a smile. Naruto turned to Hana and looked her in the eyes. Hana-chan, what were you two talking about? Naruto asked her with a smile. Hana blushed as she saw his face close to hers. Hana turned to her mother, who was shaking her head. No Hana, please, no, don't tell him, Sum shouted in her thoughts. Naruto continued to look at Hana waiting for an answer. Hana was about to give out from his smile until heard a knock on the door. Sum smiled as she ran to the door along with Hana. Naruto smiled as he realized his captives escaped. As Sum opened the door, she looked to see an Anbu officer with a cat mask in the door. Hello Lady Sum, the Hokage wants a council meeting over. He stopped when he saw Naruto come out of the living room. Hey you, he said, trying to address Naruto. Naruto turned his head to see the Anbu in the doorway. What do you want? Naruto said to him with a rather displeased look. You are to come to the council room with these women for the meeting, the man said as he shunshined out. Naruto sighed. Always gotta be the bitch, Sakuno. Naruto thought as he headed to the door. Well everyone, let's go see what they want now. Oh Kiba, you come too, Naruto said, surprising him. Naruto smiled as he ran to the meeting. He was soon followed by a smiling Kiba and Shizune, along with Haku, Sum, Hana and Anko. Meeting room. Naruto and his companions entered the room soon as they came to see the members of the civilian and shinobi council in their seats as Sum took her place. Naruto sighed as he saw Sarutobi sit in the center. The meeting got started. Alright, what is it that you people want? Naruto asked with his hands folded. Sarutobi sighed. Naruto, is it true that you are dating multiple women? Sarutobi asked. Naruto sighed as he kissed Shizune, Haku, and Hana on the cheek. Yes, that is right, Naruto told him. Soon some of the civilian council exploded. How the hell can you have multiple women? You aren't even a part of a clan, someone shouted. Naruto showed an unconcerned grin. Why do you care what happens in my love life? Naruto asked. Sakuno exploded. Cause you are a demon and no demon needs to have children, she said to him. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Says the woman who could only get one kid out of body and that kid has turned into a self-bitch herself, Naruto told her. Sum smirked a bit as Sakuno exploded. You keep my daughter out of this, she yelled. Naruto turned to the third. You know this is a waste of time, right? Naruto told him. Sarutobi nodded. Yeah, I think so, Sarutobi said to him. The council calmed down as they began to talk. Look kid, only clan heirs can have multiple wives, so unless you are the heir to a clan, we demand that you end the relationships with these women, a man told him. Naruto chuckled a bit as he turned to the man. Who the hell do you think you are? You council members think you can order me around to do something? Other than the Shinobi Council, I bet none of you know how to lift a damn finger. I bet if we were at war, you would all cower behind me if I was the only shinobi who could save you. You think you have power, but you don't. You are all just some grown people who are way in over their heads, Naruto said to them. Everyone backed up a bit as they realized that he made his point. Having all the political power in the world wouldn't save someone from a heartlesser. Naruto still looked at them. Now unless you have a valid reason as to why I can't, then I am leaving, Naruto said as he turned around. Sarutobi and the Shinobi Council could only smile. Naruto just played them all for fools. Naruto turned to a man in a chair and with a smile. Oh Danzo, how is Anbu Root doing? I think that you trying to suppress the Hokage with the arm full of Sharingans isn't a good idea, Naruto said, surprising Danzo and the members of the council. Danzo cursed at the boy as Sarutobi walked over to Danzo and ripped the cloth off his body to reveal to everyone the arm full of Sharingan. Sarutobi was furious as he summoned his Anbu. Anbu, take him to Ibiki now, and place him in a chakra-restricted prison, Sarutobi said as Danzo was paralyzed and taken away. Sarutobi smiled as he looked at Naruto. Thank you for that, Naruto. He has been a thorn in the side, but I never found a good reason to do that until now, Sarutobi said to him. Naruto nodded as he turned to leave, but Kami wasn't with him today. Wait, demon brat, Sukuna yelled to him. Naruto sighed as he turned around. What now? He wondered. Regardless if we have power or not, you still have to listen to and obey our demands, and I specifically demand that you stop dating these girls and give the to Sasuke Uchiha, Sukuna said to him with a smirk. Naruto rage boiled as he looked at her. Sarutobi and the Shinobi Council sighed. They all got up and moved over to far side. Nice knowing you, Sukuna, Shikaku thought. Be nice to the Shinigami when you see him, Sume thought. I think I should go back to praying, Hiyashi thought. That mouth was always going to get you in trouble, Sukuna, Sarutobi thought. In other words, everyone was thinking the same thing. Good luck in hell, Sukuna Haruno, they all thought. Naruto rage continued to skyrocket as he processed her words. He was demanded to give up his women who he loved with all his heart, and to a self-righteous Uchiha who wouldn't even love them. Shizune's eyes flared. How dare you? Shizune said as she formed a chakra blade. Sukuno's smile faded as Shizune walked up to her. You dare tell me that I have to break up with my Naruto-kun just so you damn people can have some little arrogant Uchiha bastards running around, Shizune said. Haku soon followed with some ice needles. That's it, I have had it. No one demands me to love anybody, Haku said. Hana and Kiba growled along with Sume in the corner. Sume just got herself a man, and a real one at that. No way was she going to lose him, because of a self-righteous bitch and her boy toy Uchiha. Anko soon followed them. How the hell do you think you are, you pink bitch, Anko said as she took out her sword. As everyone walked up to her, Sukuna turned to Sarutobi, who shook his head. I told you I wasn't going to interfere in this, Sarutobi thought. Sukuna looked in horror as everyone soon came up to her. Stop! Someone yelled. Everyone immediately stopped and turned to see Naruto with his hair covering his eyes with a smile. The girls grumbled, but Naruto's smile managed to get them to back off. Kiba complied with his leader and stopped. Sume went back to her corner as Naruto walked up. He suddenly disappeared and appeared in front of Sukuna. Naruto's smile faded as he lunged and grabbed Sukuna's throat. Listen here, you pink-haired bitch. You will not make demands out of me ever. I follow no one's orders except my own and those I feel are worth listening to. Know that if you do threat me or my women in any way again, I will snap this fragile neck of yours in two, Naruto said as he let go of her. Sukuna grabbed her throat and coughed as she tried to get some air back into her lungs. Naruto came back down and sighed. Just so we don't have this confrontation again, I will tell everyone here something, Naruto said to the council. By this time, Sarutobi and the Shinobi Council sat back down and waited for Naruto's reply. Naruto sighed as he looked at everyone. I am the son of Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, Naruto said to them. The room was filled with silence as everyone heard Naruto's claim. The council had blank looks on their faces. Even Hana, Sume, and Anko had questionable glares at him. Sarutobi looked at Naruto in shock. Where did he learn that? Sarutobi wondered. Sukuna raged. Don't you insult the name of our Yondaime with your mouth. He didn't give birth to a demon child, Sukuna said to Naruto. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Look, I don't care if you don't believe me, all that matters is that I, myself know it and I do, so I am the heir to the Namikaze clan and also the Uzumaki clan, so I have a clan status just like everyone else, so I am allowed to have multiple wives. So I believe that solves that, Naruto said to them. Everyone immediately turned to Sarutobi, who still looked at Naruto, then the council members. He sighed. Naruto is right, he is the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, he said to them. Everyone couldn't believe their ears. Here was the son of the most powerful Hokage in Konoha history. The man who was able to take out 1,000 Iwa shinobi by himself. Everyone suddenly looked at Naruto like he was a prize now, and Naruto knew this would happen. He raised his hand. Before any of you get any ideas, I am not marrying anyone's daughter just so you can have my clan's power for yourself, so you can get that out of your minds right now, Naruto told them. After he finished talking, Naruto was tackled by Sume, who kissed him all over his face, surprising the council members. While my Naruto-kun is the son of our fourth, I can't believe it, Sume said as she kissed him. Naruto smiled as he felt her kisses on his face. The council gasped at her words. Naruto-kun. They all wondered. Is it really that surprising? He wondered. Sume shook her head. Of course it is silly, she said to him. Sarutobi stopped the sight with a cough as Sume turned around. Sume, what was that? Hiyashi asked. Sume blushed. What? I can't love my boyfriend. Sume said to them. Everyone gasped. Naruto was dating a clan head and a shinobi council member. Sume always turned down dates with guys since her husband died, now she was dating Naruto. Sume smiled as she stood next to Naruto. You gonna stop me from dating him? She asked with a scowl. Everyone backed up and shook their heads. Good. Not that I would listen to you people anyway, she said to them. Sarutobi sighed. Alright, that is enough. This meeting is over, Naruto. I want to meet you and your friends in my office, Sarutobi said to him. Naruto nodded as he and his companions left. Sarutobi left also as the council went through their thoughts. Hokage office. Naruto and his companions waited for Sarutobi to arrive as they sat on the couch or leaned on the walls. Well, I am learning lots of things about Naruto-kun today, Hana said to him. Naruto smiled as rolled his eyes. I was actually going to tell you both about that today, but it seems that I had to do it back there, Naruto said to her. I can't believe I am dating a Namikaze, Sume said out loud. Naruto smiled. So you're going to date me for the clan status now? Naruto said to her. Sume smiled as walked up to Naruto and kissed him. Of course not, Naruto-kun. I love you for you, clan status or no clan status. In fact, I loved you before I even found out about it, Sume said with a smile. Naruto chuckled as he gave her a tight hug which made Sume blushed from his tight muscles. Thank you, Sume, Naruto said to her. Sume nodded with a smile. Hana leaned on Naruto's shoulder. Still, the fact that Naruto-kun is the son of the Yondaime, it makes me wonder how powerful you will be in the future, Hana said to him. Naruto smiled at her words. Naruto nodded in agreement. Before Sarutobi came in, Naruto decided to ask Sume his question. Hey Sume-chan, how would you like to merge your clan compound with mine? Naruto told her. Sume jumped at his question, but smiled. I would like that, Naruto-kun, we can do that tomorrow, okay? She asked. Naruto nodded. Fine with me, Sume-chan, Naruto told her. Shizune smiled. Now our compound will be 3 times as big, Shizune smiled. Everyone nodded with a smile. Naruto then looked at Kiba and Haku. He smiled as he motioned for them. Yes, Naruto-kun. They asked. Naruto smiled. Since he isn't here, I will give you both the mark now, Naruto said to them. Sume and Hana wondered what he meant as they watched Naruto move to Haku. Naruto exposed a part of her neck and bit the side. Haku winced a bit from the pain, but soon adjusted to it. Soon her mark appeared as Haku flowed through her body. Naruto smiled as a light appeared and soon faded. Haku opened her eyes and looked in a mirror. Her ears were on her head, she was a few inches taller and she had a fluffy white tail that swayed around. Haku smiled. This feels amazing. I think I could take on anyone and win, Haku said with a smile. Naruto smiled as he turned to Kiba. Kiba didn't really like the way this was done being a guy and all, but he knew it was necessary. Naruto bit Kiba's neck as his mark also appeared. Soon the light appeared and faded as Kiba opened his eyes. Kiba's ears moved to his head and were the same color as his hair. He also had a brown tail that swayed behind him. Yahoo! I can feel the chakra run smoothly through my body. I haven't felt this good in forever, Kiba said to Naruto. Naruto nodded as he looked at Sume and Hana. Both seemed to debate over it, but could see that it would be very fun and useful. Sume exposed her neck to Naruto as did Hana. Naruto smiled as he bit Sume's neck first. The light came and went as Sume looked also. Her hair was much straighter as it came down to her shoulders. Her ears were on her head and she had a brown tail that swayed. Sume smiled at the features. This is amazing, thank you Naruto-kun, Sume said to him as she hugged him. Naruto smiled. You're welcome Sume-chan, he said to her. Naruto then turned to Hana who was ready to be marked. Naruto bit her next as he heard a slight moan from her. Soon the mark appeared and so did the light. The light faded as Hana opened her eyes. Hana's ears were also on her head. She had a black and brownish tail that swayed. Hana smiled. Oh, this feels wonderful. I think I could fight an Akatsuki member without breaking a sweat, Hana stated. Naruto smiled with a nod. Okay, you all have your marks. Now Henshu you appear normal. Can't have this plan going down the drain, can we? Naruto said to them. The girls and Kiba nodded as they hanged back to their forms. No sooner than that did Sarutobi come through the door and sat down at his desk. Sarutobi sighed as he sat down. You sure know how to surprise people Naruto, Sarutobi said to him. Naruto smiled. What? They needed to know, and it felt good to see their reactions, Naruto said to him. Sarutobi smiled with a nod. That is true, but where did you learn that? He asked him. Naruto sighed. Sorry Gigi, but I can't tell you that. My source must be kept a secret, Naruto told him. Sarutobi looked at him, but nodded. Very well Naruto, but since you know, I want to give you this letter from your father, he said to Naruto as he reached inside his drawer and pulled out the letter. Naruto knew about the letter, but it always felt good to read it again. Naruto took the letter as he read it. To Naruto Uzumaki. Hey son, how are you? This is your father, Minato Namikaze. If you are reading this then I am dead. The village is currently being attacked by the Kyuubi no Yoko and I must go help. I have thought of the best way to save the village and it was to seal the beast inside someone of pure spirit. And what is more pure than a child? I couldn't ask someone of something that I wouldn't do myself, so I had to seal the child inside my son. You. Please don't hate me for it, that might be selfish on my part, but I hope that the village treats you well as the hero. Your mother really didn't like the idea of it, but I managed to convince her. Although she told me that she couldn't bear to watch it. Know that I love you and below are the directions to my compound. It is quite big enough to even put the Uchiha in their place. I leave my clan's jutsu to you, the Rasengan and the Hiraishin technique. Use these techniques to bring peace. I love you Naruto. I must go goodbye. Naruto and his group were left stunned after they heard the words that came out of Sarutobi's mouth. Naruto stuttered to speak as he tried to process the information he had just received. What did you say, Gigi? Naruto asked him. Sarutobi could see the disbelief in Naruto's eyes. Sarutobi sighed. I said I believe that your mother is alive and is near Wave Country, Sandaime said to Naruto. Naruto looked down at the ground for a while. Soon Naruto looked up and looked at the third. And why are you telling me this now? He asked him, clearly upset. Hiruzen nodded as he got up. I always thought that you were just a normal genin, one who still needed protection, but if you can manage to bring an ex-Kiri shinobi to our forces, then I have no doubt about your power. I am at least confident that you can handle yourself against genin to chunin level people, Sarutobi said to him. Naruto nodded, though in truth he could handle 2 of the Sannin at once. Naruto, I want you to train with Jiraiya, he was your father's sensei and I know he will be good to you, Sarutobi said to Naruto. Naruto's eyes were suddenly filled with rage and hate at the thought of being trained by Jiraiya. Naruto simply nodded and left with his group, leaving a unsuspecting Sarutobi in his seat. As everyone left, Kiba turned to Naruto. Naruto, I noticed that you were very angry at the mention of Jiraiya's name, Kiba told him. Naruto simply nodded his head. Why? Hana asked him. Naruto stopped the group as he looked around him. Naruto sighed as he put up a privacy seal around them. Naruto looked at them all with his eyes very much red. I won't forgive his perverted never. He could spend an eternity trying to get me to forgive him, but I will never do it. He did something unforgivable to me. He was supposed to be my godfather, but he betrayed my trust. He will die and it will hurt, Naruto said to them. Some narrowed their eyes and others were sad, but everyone wanted an explanation. Naruto sighed as he went through his memories. Flashback. Naruto was training with Jiraiya in a field as they sparred until their chakra reserves were empty. Both exhausted as they sat on a tree. Still the little firecracker Naruto? Jiraiya asked him. Naruto smiled as he fell back. Still the big pervert Jiraiya? Naruto told him. Jiraiya laughed as he nodded. I am not a big pervert, Jiraiya told him. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Oh, then what are you? Naruto asked him. Jiraiya turned to him. I am a super pervert, he told him. Naruto's sweat dropped as he heard the proclamation. Whatever Jiraiya, Naruto told him. Soon Naruto fell asleep as his fading as saw Jiraiya's eyes narrowed, his smile faded and he said something to Naruto. I am sorry Naruto, he said as Naruto blanked out. Naruto soon woke up to see he was bound to some chains. Naruto looked up to see Jiraiya in front of him. Hey Jiraiya, what are you doing? Let me go, Naruto told him. Jiraiya laughed as he punched Naruto in the gut. Naruto winced in pain as the wind got knocked out of him. Shut your mouth, you demon spawn, Jiraiya said to him. Naruto was shocked that he had heard what Jiraiya said to him. What are you talking about, Jiraiya? I am your godson, Naruto said to him. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed as planted a kick into Naruto's stomach. Arg! Naruto screamed as he fell to the floor. Jiraiya, stop please, Naruto begged. Jiraiya looked at Naruto in a stone-cold glare as kicked Naruto's face, nearly breaking his nose. Naruto was on his back. For all the people that you will destroy in the future, I can't let you live, Jiraiya said to Naruto as his fingers glowed. He hit Naruto in the stomach as his seal appeared with 5 symbols layered over it. Naruto screamed in pain as the effects of what Jiraiya did took place. Jiraiya saw an unconscious Naruto on the floor as he walked out of the room. Jiraiya came outside to see Sasuke at the entrance. Do it, Sasuke commanded. Jiraiya complied. Kaden. Gamaiu Enden, fire release. Toad oil flame bullet, Jiraiya yelled as he shot a fierce fire out of his mouth and burned the building to ashes. Sasuke smirked as he patted Jiraiya on the back. You did good. Now, you die, Sasuke said as he sent a Chidori through Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked in surprise at Sasuke. Why? You said you wouldn't me if I did this for you, Jiraiya said to him. Sasuke smiled. Like I would make deals with the friend of a demon, Sasuke said as Jiraiya dropped to the floor. 2 hours later, Naruto emerged from the rubble as he looked to see it was raining. Naruto looked in anger for Jiraiya. Naruto couldn't find him until he found a note. Naruto began to read it. Sorry kid, but women are more important to me than you, and Sasuke said I could have as many as I want if I'd you, so there you have it. Have a fun time with Minato and Kushina. He didn't know Kushina might be alive. Naruto dropped the note as anger filled his body. He suddenly started to tremble from the fury as Kyuubi's chakra began to leak out of him. Jiraiya! Naruto yelled at the sky. Naruto took a breath. You better hope to Kami that I don't find you, Jiraiya, Naruto said to himself as he left. Flashback end. Everyone was wide-eyed that Jiraiya would betray Naruto, and for women no less. Naruto clenched his hands as blood slowly seeped out. I will him. He thinks women are all that matter. I will be glad to show him fear, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded in agreement as Naruto smiled. Okay, I will deal with him later, but let's just get through this day, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they walked through the streets. As they walked, Anko came up to Naruto. So Naruto-kun, when are you going to go see if Kushina is alive? Anko asked him. Naruto lifted his head up as he looked at the sky. Maybe in a week. Knowing she is alive makes me feel good and happy, Naruto said to them. Everyone smiled as they walked down the streets. They all stopped to look to the right as two people were arguing. For the last time, Asuma, I won't go out with you, Kurenai said to the Blade Master. Asuma seemed a little mad by her response and grabbed her arm. Come on, Kurenai, you have never said yes, won't you give me a shot? He asked her. Kurenai shook her head. I said no, now let me go, she ordered. Asuma seethed at her as he gripped her harder. But I love you, why won't you love me? He said to her. Kurenai brought her hand around and slapped Asuma in the face. Asuma became wide-eyed at Kurenai as she looked at him. Even Naruto is more of a man than you are, at least I am sure he wouldn't put his hands on me like you did, Kurenai shot at him. Asuma's eyes narrowed. What does this have to do with him of all people? Asuma asked her. Kurenai blushed as she turned away. It doesn't, so go away, she said as she walked away. Suddenly she bumped into the man they were taking about as Naruto looked at her. Kurenai blushed as she saw that she hit Naruto. Oh sorry Naruto-kun, she said to him. Naruto shook his head. It's alright. Wait, when did she start calling me Naruto-kun? He wondered. Are you busy training? She asked him. Naruto shook his head. No, but we were going to do some when we all got home, Naruto told her. Kurenai nodded her head as she saw his group. Hey Anko-chan, Kurenai told her. Anko smiled as she looked at her friend. Hey Nai-chan, Anko said to her. Soon Kurenai and Anko engaged in a conversation over the Chunin exams as Asuma looked at them, clearly irritated that he was ignored. Asuma took out his brass knuckles as he put a fist up at Naruto. Hey Naruto, I challenge you for Kurenai, Asuma said to him. Naruto looked at him and shook his head. Ya know Asuma, Kurenai is a person, not a prize to be won, so I won't fight you over her. I respect her too much for that, Naruto said to him, causing Kurenai to blush. Asuma seethed as he charged forward at Naruto. Shut up and fight, he said to Naruto. Naruto sighed as Kurenai and Naruto's group backed up. Naruto held his hand out as he caught Asuma's fist in his hand. Naruto looked at Kurenai. This is your call, Kurenai-chan. I won't fight this guy if you don't want me to, Naruto told her. Kurenai smiled as she liked that Naruto put her opinion in it. I don't normally like guys fighting over me, but if it is you I can comply, Kurenai told him. Naruto smiled as he gripped Asuma's fist harder, making some bones crack. Asuma yelled in some pain as Naruto turned to him. Well, there you have it. You got yourself a fight, Naruto said to him as he fight Asuma in the gut with his free hand. Asuma rubbed his stomach a bit from some pain. Fine then Naruto, let's take this to the training field, Asuma said as he leapt away. Naruto sighed as he followed. His company soon followed the two also. At the training field, Naruto and Asuma stood at opposite ends of the field as they looked in each other's eyes. Asuma was thinking about how this fight was pointless since he was a Jonin and Naruto was officially a Genin. Naruto was wondering how much of his power he should hide to make this fight fair. Soon Naruto's company came as everyone waited for the fight to start. Kurenai turned to see everyone who was with Naruto. Are you guys sure Naruto-kun will be okay? Kurenai asked, clearly worried. Everyone laughed a little, but knew that Kurenai didn't know. Sum decided to talk. I don't date weak men, Kurenai. I didn't think I would find myself with him either, but trust me when I saw that even though his rank is Genin, Naruto-kun is probably the strongest in the village right now, Sum said to her. Kurenai thought she should have her ears checked. Sum just told her she was dating Naruto and that Naruto was probably the most powerful person in the village. Now when you think of the most powerful person you normally think the Hokage or one of the Sannin, but never a Genin. Kurenai decided to watch the match with interest. Ready Naruto? Asuma said to him. Naruto chuckled as he cracked his knuckles. Bring it Asuma, Naruto said to him. Asuma nodded as Kiba put his hand up and brought it down. Begin, Kiba said as he backed away. Asuma charged Naruto with his brass knuckles glowing with chakra. Naruto charged with a kunai as both clashed their weapons. Asuma already had to admit that Naruto was good. He blocked the brass knuckles as even held his own against Asuma in terms of strength. Naruto smiled as dispelled. Asuma became wide-eyed as he looked at nothing. Kage Bunshin, he wondered. Suddenly he was kicked in the face by Naruto as he was sent into the trees making a loud crash. Naruto smiled at the destruction. Come on Asuma, you aren't done are you? Naruto asked him. Asuma's smile jumped out of the trees, with a few scratches. Not bad, but I haven't got serious yet, Asuma said with a smile. Naruto rolled his eyes. Please, I am just plain bored here, Naruto thought to himself. Asuma ran forward in an attempt to get Naruto off his feet. Naruto simply sidestepped the Jonin as he passed him. Asuma seethed as he pivoted his foot and launched at Naruto. Naruto sighed as Asuma swung left and right at him continuously as Naruto simply dodged them all. Everyone cheered as they saw Naruto dodge Asuma's attacks. Kurenai was at least surprised. Asuma just couldn't hit Naruto. Kurenai suddenly blushed as she saw Naruto wink at her while he dodged Asuma. Naruto smiled as he turned back to a struggling Asuma as he disappeared. Asuma quickly looked around in every possible direction. Oh, here it comes, Shizune said to them. Here what comes? Kiba asked her. Everyone else turned to Shizune as she smiled. Just watch, Asuma won't be able to block this, not even Itachi with his eyes could dodge this, Shizune said to them. Everyone turned their eyes back to the field. Well Asuma, I am bored so I will end this now, Naruto said to him. Asuma scoffed. If you can just try it, he told the blonde. Alright, Naruto said as he appeared behind Asuma and walked towards his group. Done, Naruto said to him. Asuma turned only for immense pain to hit his body repeatedly. Asuma yelled as cuts ranging from small to big hit his body as he fell down. Naruto smiled. You couldn't even hear the wind, could you? Naruto told him. Naruto smiled as he walked back to his group, but stopped halfway and smirked. You really don't know how to stay down, do you? Naruto asked Asuma, who got up and did some hand signs. Kaden. Hisekisho fire style. Ash pile burning, Asuma yelled as smoke came out of his mouth and engulfed Naruto. Asuma smirked as he took out his lighter. Know your place, Naruto, Asuma said as he threw the lighter into the smoke and watched it burst with a huge explosion. Asuma smiled as he looked to see a giant crater in the middle of the field. Well, that takes care of that, Asuma said as he turned to Kurenai. So do we have a date? He asked with a smile. Kurenai looked at Asuma, then back at the smoke. She suddenly smiled, then blushed heavily along with Naruto's group, except Kiba. Asuma sighed as he turned around only to see Naruto standing virtually unscathed and shirtless, exposing his abs and his finely tuned body. Ah, Asuma, I really like that shirt, Naruto joked to him. He turned to see Kurenai blushing at his body as he smiled. Do you like what you see, Kurenai? He asked as everyone turned to see her blush redden even more. Kurenai for herself was in her own thoughts over Naruto's body. That body, it's the hottest body I have ever seen, it's so kami-like and strong, I would love to feel those muscles on my body, Kurenai said in her thoughts as Asuma could see that he completely lost her attention. Asuma turned around and faced Naruto. You know, for a genin you are very nosy, Asuma said to him. Naruto smiled with a nod. Yeah, I get that a lot, but I am doing Kurenai a favor, I guess, Naruto said as wind formed around his arm. Asuma narrowed his eyes at Naruto's arm. He no element training, but that is for Chunin and higher. This kid knows how to surprise people, Asuma thought as blue chakra ran through his blade. He pulled his arm back and smiled. Well, no matter. He is still a genin, therefore I will always have the bigger advantage, Asuma said to himself as he and Naruto flew forward. Heen, flying swallow, Asuma shouted as he ran at Naruto. Naruto smiled as his arm blazed out. Fuden. Tengoku Sabama, wind style. Heavenly swallow, Naruto yelled. Both shinobi collied with their techniques as the area exploded with a powerful wind that blew the trees away. Everyone enforced chakra to their feet as they tried to withstand the mighty explosion. As the winds calmed down, everyone looked to see a smiling Naruto over an unconscious Asuma. Naruto smiled as he picked up Asuma and sat him against a tree. Well, that takes care of that, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they came down to meet Naruto. That was a fine battle, Naru-kun, Haku said to him. It's too bad that you had to hold so much back, Shizune said to him. Naruto smiled. Don't worry, Shizune. When the time comes I will get serious, Naruto said with a slightly evil smile that everyone saw except Kurenai. Kurenai smiled at the knocked out Asuma as she walked over to Naruto's group. Naruto, Kurenai called to him. Naruto turned to her and smiled. Yes, Kurenai-chan, he asked. Thank you for all your help, Naruto-kun, she said as she leaned down and kissed him on the cheek. Naruto blushed, but still smiled. You're welcome, Kurenai-chan. Well, I will see you later, Naruto said as he and his group turned to leave. I would like you to see me later, Kurenai said to him. Everyone stopped walking and turned to her. Naruto was almost stunned as he heard her. Does Kurenai-chan want a date with me? Naruto asked her. Kurenai blushed even more as she looked at the ground. Naruto-kun isn't like most of the perverts in this village, he is sweet, smart, strong, and I like him, so yes, I would like to date Naruto-kun, Kurenai said to him. Naruto smiled as he walked over to Kurenai. He slowly took her hand and kissed it, making her blush even more red than her eyes. It would be my pleasure to date you tonight, Kurenai-chan, Naruto told her. Kurenai smiled as gave Naruto another kiss on the cheek. Pick me up at 9. She asked him. Naruto nodded. 9 it is, Kurenai-chan, see you until then, Naruto said to her. Kurenai nodded as she sunshined home a happy woman. Naruto smiled as he turned back to his group who were smirking. What are you people laughing at? He asked them. As everyone calmed down, Sume spoke. Nothing, Naruto-kun. It's just that you seem to be quite the ladies' man, Sume told him. Naruto blushed, but smiled nonetheless. Well, what can I say? I love why ladies, Naruto said, giving them each a kiss on the cheek that made them all blush. Everyone smiled as they walked back to the compound. Namikaze compound. As everyone got through the door, Naruto smiled when he saw Zabuza on the couch. How you doing, Zabuza? Naruto asked. Zabuza struggled to look up.